In this video, we're going to be looking at exponent basics. Our objective, understand what a power is, understand how parentheses affect powers, and understand how to simplify a power. Our vocabulary is a power, math problem that utilizes an exponent for multiplying. Exponent, small number put above another to create a power. Many people call powers exponents. They can kind of be intermixed. Base, number with an exponent after and above it. We want to first focus on the basics of the power. And so what I have is a large B. This right here is known as the base. It's the main number within the problem. This E here is representing our exponent. These things put together are what create a power. So this right here, B to the power of E, is the power. And that's how you say it. You say the base to the power of, and then whatever the E is. So this one is 4 to the power of 3. This is 6 to the power of 2. Now what we need to do is look at how we do the math for this. So 4 to the power of 3 really means that we need 3 4s. So 1, 2, 3. It's always multiplication, so we put a times sign between them. This is 4 times 4 times 4. Now we can just do the math and we know what 4 to the third power is. So 4 times 4 is 16. And then 16 times 4 would be 64. Okay? Our second one down here is 6 to the power of 2, which is saying we need 2 6s. So 6, 6. We're always multiplying. 6 times 6 is 36. Really, powers or exponents are just a way to shorten up a multiplication problem. The next thing that we want to look at is how parentheses affect the exponent. In this one, because of the parentheses being around the -8, what this is saying is we have -8 to the power of 2. So this is saying -8 times -8. Well, negative times negative is positive. 8 times 8 is 64. So here we have this becoming 64. This one, though, doesn't have a parentheses with it. So the negative is not being grouped with the 8, meaning that the only thing in the power is that right there. The negative's just off in front, meaning the answer in this situation is automatically negative. So this is really 8 to the power of 2, which is 8. 8, so 8 and 8 make 64. But the negative travels all the way across to make it negative 64 here. So it's not that the negative isn't in the problem, it's just not part of the multiplication part. It just automatically floats to the end. It has kind of a go-ahead card for Monopoly or something. Alright, so let's use the same idea for this bottom one. Because of the parentheses around it, we need to have the negative repeat. -3, -3, -3, times -3, times -3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 -3s here. -3 and -3 make 9. Times -3 makes -27. Times -3 makes positive 81. Times -3 makes -242. So this one, 243, sorry. -243 here. So we just keep going with our negatives, use our multiplication rules as we know them. The bottom one, a little bit different. again, no parentheses, so it's just 3 to the power of 5, which is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So 3 and 3 become 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. 81 times 3 is 243. The negative floats across. This one is also negative 243. As you can see, an odd exponent with parentheses or without doesn't really matter. It's negative in both situations. But an even exponent, it does matter, as one is positive and one is negative. Decimals won't really change how we work with the problem. That just means that we'll have to do some decimal math as we work. So what we have here is 3.4 times 3.4. In this situation, because of the decimals, I would probably just bring out a calculator to make life a little bit easier if necessary. So we'll get the calculator out. And we'll go 3.4 times 3.4. So we'll get 11.56. Because there is no parentheses, the negative just floats to the bottom. We have negative 11.56 here. Okay, we're going to use a similar path for this one. We would go 5.02 times 5.02 times 5.02. And we would just multiply this across. 5.02 times 5.02. We get 25.2004. And we still have 5.02 to multiply it by. And for this one we get 126.506008. So decimals don't really change how we do the problem, just makes it a little bit more complicated with some of the math that we have to work with because of decimal multiplication. The last situation is fractions. Now, as you can see here, we have a fraction with parentheses. So what this is meaning is we're going to have negative 3/4 3 times. Then we just use our multiplication rules. So we'll do 2 at a time. Top times top, which gives us 9. Bottom times bottom, which gives us 16. Negative times negative is positive. And we're going to multiply by negative 3/4. 9 times 3 is 27. 16 times 4 is 64. Positive times negative is negative. Reduce if possible. And we've got 2 other situations. This top one, the square, because there's no parentheses, the square only goes with what it's closest to, which is the 5. So this is really 5 times 5, which is 25, and the 4 just comes along for the ride, and this becomes 25 over 4. This one has 2 cubed, so the top is 2 times 2 times 2, but the bottom is 3 squared, which is 3 times 3. So notice how these 2 situations with fractions give us a little bit different problem to work with. This would then be 8, and this would be 9. Alright, this has been Exponent Basics. If there's any part of this that you didn't understand, please pause the video, rewind, rewatch, and bring any questions to class. Thank you.